If any of y'all need some saddle hunting gear, Latitude Outdoors is running a 4th of July sale right now. A lot of stuff on 20% off. Can't beat that. A lot of cool stuff coming down the line from Latitude. So visit Latitude Outdoors and save you some money right now with their 4th of July sale. It's time to start thinking about whitetail gear. ASIO Gear offers a fantastic solution for any of your clothing needs. They've crafted a premium line of bow hunting gear that stands out in quality, especially for the price point. What's more, every purchase from ASIO comes with a lifetime warranty. That gives you some peace of mind there with clothing. With their unique camo pattern and great technology in their garments, ASIO ensures you'll stay comfortable in the stand or in the saddle or whatever you're using. And here's the kicker. ASIO is offering a special deal to listeners. If you use the code ECHO15 at checkout, you can get 15% off your purchase of anything on the ASIO's website. So visit ASIOgear.com today to explore the selection of premium hunting clothing that they have over there. And finally, the original sponsor of this podcast, Stealth Outdoors. Makers of the greatest silencing tape on this side of Mars. Good news coming from Stealth Outdoors. Lou's offering everybody that listens to the show 10% off using the code BTE10. So, go to stealthoutdoors.com. Make sure you get your silencing tape. Get you a shirt from Lou. Go over there and support Lou. He's a great guy with a great product. Visit stealthoutdoors.com. All my partners are in the description of this podcast. Go check them out.
What's up? You're muted. There you go.
Rookie mistake starting off here.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? I usually don't mute myself. That's why I don't ever do that.
Yeah, I always do mine.
But Huck is playing right out my door, and I thought he was going to come in, but he never did. So I just muted myself. Like, well, if he comes in, I'll be muted then. But
yeah, I got dogs barking and ducks quacking and all kind of stuff out here in the backyard. So yeah,
little background noise.
Yeah,
we're back, Patrick. We missed a week.
Yep.
We're back.
Yep. Sorry, everybody. I was out mowing grass. Got a little too hot last Monday, and then I hurt my back too, so I couldn't sit in a chair for a few days. But I'm better now. So.
At least it wasn't anything crazy.
Back in action. No, I do that all the time to my back. It gets stiff, and I throw it out about once a year, it seems like.
Yeah.
So it used to hurt sitting in a saddle. Like, it gets stiff and kind of bother it sometimes. I had it hurting for a while one time, and it just, But, bless you.
I used the mute button properly.
I saw that. Good job. And you did this, too.
Oh, yeah.
Look, COVID's over, bro. COVID's over. You should have just spit everything out all over the screen.
Oh, man.
Interesting week we had last week.
Yeah, it was. And that's kind of what our topic today derived from, was just the heavily politic news that we have going on. Just crazy stuff going on. Unless you're talking about something else.
Yeah, we got a lot going on in our country, and I figured I talked to you about it. I figured it'd be a good topic since it's kind of fresh, and not to dog one candidate or the other out, but just kind of talk about how to navigate this season of life in our country from a faith-based standpoint, rather than trying to get mad and your candidate's trash, blah, 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 blah. Just kind of learn ways to pay attention but not worry about it or obsess over it like some of us do. I know I've been guilty of it before.
Yeah. There's like a lot to unravel here tonight. Like I took some notes on some things that I've had some thoughts and looked up some Bible passages, and it seems like as far as politics in the Bible, there is actually a decent amount of things that were happening in that time frame when Jesus was alive that was not really unlike what we have going on right now. Maybe what's happened throughout, the history of the world, at least the history of mankind. Jesus was kind of born in the height of the Roman Empire, right?
Right.
Which the Romans, if you can think of this, I think they were like the first people to like take over nations, but not really like destroy the nation. They would kind of take over. You could continue to go on your business
Right.
as long as you kind of followed their rules or whatever you want to say.
And paid taxes.
And pay taxes, exactly.
That's why they hated man.
They had taxes on roads, on your income, which was, if you farmed, you got taxed for that. This and you got taxed for everything, just like we do here right now.
Right.
And also they didn't have like the left and the right. They had the Pharisees and the Sadducees back then.
Mm-hmm.
So Democrats, Republicans. I don't know which one was which exactly, or how you could relate those to what we have now, but it was very similar back then as it is now. And you try to look into what Jesus thought of politics, and he didn't really think much of them, really. I mean, he thought, from what I understand, is how the Bible reads, is like government is necessary sometimes, as long as government is not worshipped.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And that's where things go haywire, it seems like, is when people start worshiping these politicians or the government and depending on them. And I'm trying not to get too far off topic, but like, man, we've
putting their faith in them.
Yeah, that happens a lot in this country. Like,
yeah,
we label ourselves as, are you a Democrat or you're a Republican or whatever? Like, that is something you live by and you're like proud of,
Yeah, a lot of people are.
So, and that's kind of, I think, where God starts to draw the line. Like, hey, these aren't who we worship. These are people that, maybe contain order or whatever the case may be. And I can't remember what Bible verse it was, or where it was at in the Bible, but it's essentially like, I think another spot where God may draw the line, or Jesus may draw the line on government, is like, government is supposed to tolerate certain sins. And once they stop tolerating sin and they start to, gosh dang it, give me a second here. Rosie sits there and scratches. Give me a second.
You're good.
Hold my thought.
Yep.
I mean, she gets loud in there doing that.
Oh yeah, I heard her.
So once the government stops tolerating sin and starts to like celebrating it instead of just tolerating it, that's when God doesn't like that either. Like, when we're doing things that are promoting sinful activity.
Pride Month, for instance, is a sin. Pride is a sin. Yeah, right.
Any of those months probably are. Like, we shouldn't, like, I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't think you should worship anybody or make anybody special, because we're all created in the image of God. So we're all already blessed and special to even have life. So to give somebody, I mean, I guess it's all right to celebrate certain people who made a difference. I mean, we celebrate Jesus.
Sure.
There's some politicians that get the same amount of holidays as Jesus gets, which I think is kind of ridiculous in our country. But that's just the way this country is. Operates out of a lot of guilt and things in the past more than trying to look at the future. But I think another thing too is very clear is God likes nations. He likes borders. A lot of people seem to think that God doesn't, like the migrant crisis we got in the country right now. A lot of people think that it's not godly or Christian to say, no, we need to close our borders. Well, God likes that, because from my understanding, God doesn't like, if you have a one world government, which is what's kind of spoken of in Revelations, right? Then you basically make that government your God. And God didn't never want people to get more, a person to have more power and authority on this earth than he does. So if you start limiting the amount of nations to like a one world system, 2 or 3, then you have 3 really powerful things on this earth that everybody's got to follow. And that's my understanding of what it said. So he likes borders, he likes nations.
Even from a practical standpoint, that makes sense, right? You don't want, because there's more room for corruption, even more corruption than there already is if you got just a handful of people in power.
Right.
Which, I mean, you could probably make arguments about we already do with certain companies and this and that,
Right.
But go ahead. If you weren't done, I interrupted you.
No, that was pretty much, I mean, I was just saying that he likes nations, as far as like, even and Jesus even told people, it's hard for me because I hate taxes. You know that. I mean, I gripe about them all the time. I think it's
Well,
like
I'm a small business owner too. I hate them. I mean, it's insane.
it's like one of the yeah. I mean, we pay more than most people pay in taxes too because you own your own business, and there are advantages to owning a business. So I mean, it's kind of what goes along with it. But he spoke about taxes. He spoke about authority and all that stuff. And he said Caesar's. He said in I don't know where it was, but it's in the gospel that Caesar's money is Caesar's. And to respect that, give him his money. But there was just back then things haven't changed much. Corruption's still there, government's still there. Two-party systems, things ruling class are still there. It's just a lot. I don't know. I think we get too wrapped up in all that political stuff. I do at times. I used to really get wrapped up in it. I just I pay a lot of attention to it now just because I like to know what's going on, and I'm kind of interested in it. I kind of watch it. To me, it's like kind of like a hobby. If you ask me what are my 3 favorite things to kind of watch, I'd say it's hunting.
WWE on Monday Night Wrestling.
Yeah, I like wrestling, but I don't watch that as much anymore. But,
Mark 12:17. Yeah, I was trying to fumble around here looking for it, but thanks, Captain Texas.
Yeah, thank you.
Caesar. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, my 3 things that I follow are pretty much hunting, bodybuilding, 3 like random things, and politics. So, and I just like it for just to be informed in sport. But I used to get into it, get angry, and like try to argue my point with people who had a totally opposite, aren't entitled to their totally opposite opinion of what I'm seeing. And I can't believe that they live in the same reality I can. I'm sure they feel the same way about me, but there's just no winning it, and that's why. I've had a friend that used to tell me for years until I finally accepted it, man. You just kind of got to know that God knows what's going on. Quit worrying about all that stuff so much to where it's keeping you up at night, or you're getting mad and yelling at people or arguing on Facebook. And, what's to worry about, man? There's nothing to worry about. God's got it all. If you put your faith in him, then you find yourself a lot more peaceful too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like, if we would spend as much energy that in this country as we do arguing back and forth about politics or being so passionate about politics, or we're a Republican or we're a Democrat or a Trumpster, or we like Biden, whatever. It's like, if we would put all that energy into, learning the Bible or learning more about God, it's like, well, look how much farther along we'd be as a country.
Yeah.
And these politics wouldn't have so much impact on our lives,
Yeah. They're not going to fix your problems. Now, no matter what, we're going to still have these problems. They make your problems worse, honestly. Yeah. I don't care who he is or who's up there. I mean, I haven't. I mean, it was nice. The 4 years Trump was in office, it was nice to have extra money in my pocket, and business was doing a lot better. I felt like our country was moving in a bit better direction, at least from my standpoint. But, when you look at all the administrations put together, they're not doing anything, they're not doing anything to promote Christian values, first off, which I know our country, kind of does. We're Judeo-Christian, but they're not doing anything to really help us in our everyday lives, at least. So you got to do it yourself, and you got to rely on God for all the stuff,
Yeah. And I mean, Jesus, he really was crucified because of politics. I mean, the Pharisees, they kind of saw him as a threat to government, because he was kind of showing this new way of living through God, instead of, through the government.
Right.
And then the Sadducees, they kind of felt he was a threat to their wealth, because he was oftentimes, kind of calling out their schemish ways to make money, and there's some examples of that in the Bible. So that's ultimately why the government wanted to crucify Jesus in the end, was because he was slowly kind of causing a revolt, or a acting out against the government.
He was the Bernie Sanders, dude. He was like Bernie, man. So far out there for the time. Not really making a comparison, but
I know
he was just so radical in his approach to what we need to be putting make important in our lives. And Jesus, if he hated hypocrites, and hypocrisy, not hypocrites, hypocrisy. That's one thing he didn't like. And I mean, good Lord, do we have a bunch of it in our country right now, man. I mean, the world, but, we're just speaking about particularly politics here in the United States and stuff like that. So, it's a bunch. And like you said, there's always been a ruler nation. You had the Roman Empire, then you had the Ottoman Empire. What other empires have you had? There's been several nations.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Zeke probably knows. He knows everything. Or I mean, James knows, but yeah, I mean, you've had a lot of empires since then, and they've all come and they've all gone. So, but one thing hasn't, and that's God and Jesus. So,
yeah, I think, I don't know when it would be, the political stuff is just so hard because nobody's perfect, and if you would put any of us up there in front of the world like that, they'd probably find some reason to hate you or do something bad to you. So you do get to see like the worst sides of both individuals up there, whoever it is, just because the other side's looking so hard for something bad to say about them, or to promote about them. Some of them do a little, some of them is a little easier to kind of show their sinful ways or what you don't like about them. But, I don't know, like this comment, I'm going to look for it again. Mike said, he made a good comment. He said, we have a responsibility to God to help create an environment conducive to people accepting Jesus as their savior.
Yep.
I think that's a good comment. It's tough, but man, with Donald Trump, and to be honest, he's probably our best option right now, especially after watching that debate the other night. Like, if that's our two we have to go with, it's like, whew,
Yeah, you can't have a dead man with the nuclear codes.
Yeah, man, I couldn't watch it all. Yeah. It was so embarrassing. I mean, it was just so hard to watch.
They were both embarrassing. I mean, towards the end, Trump stayed pretty measured through the whole thing. I was actually pretty impressed and proud that he didn't. And thank gosh for the mute button on his microphone. I think that saved him.
Who knows what he was really saying?
Oh, man. The split screen between the two of them killed Biden, just because he was looking at Biden the way we were thinking. But whether you love Biden or you hate Biden, or you dislike his policies, which I don't agree with his policies, but man, it is really sad what they're doing, propping that old man up there.
It just doesn't feel right, does it? I mean, it just feels like I'll be honest with you, and I don't. I mean, this isn't new news or anything with him, but it reminds me. He acts like my grandpa did. My grandpa died from Alzheimer's, and he acted just like that in the early stages of it.
Yeah,
I mean, we knew he had it, but it's like, man, it was. I mean, just couldn't finish a sentence. Couldn't. I mean, it was. Yeah. I mean, and I don't get it. I don't get what they're
power, man.
What they're trying to. Yeah, it's power.
Power, right. And I posted it on my my Facebook story the other day. Somebody posted it up, and it was a side-by-side comparison of Biden 4 years ago versus Biden today.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was bad 4 years ago, but oh my gosh, man, he looks like he's freaking
20 years older.
Awesome 4 years ago. I mean, he's debating good. He's talking good. It was him speaking through the Democrat primary, not when he was talking, with Trump, because he's kind of always stuttering, lost his words, but man, it's really getting bad. And, as a country, we should pray for him, even if you don't like him. I have a hard time doing that, but you should. He's our leader, unfortunately. Or is he? He's really not, but he's supposed to be. And then, I mean, my biggest fear is, you've got a nuclear sub off the coast of Florida that's been there for a few weeks now on Cuba doing military exercise, a Russian nuclear sub. And I watched, and I'm a big fan of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. too. I honestly think that he would, he knows he's smarter than both of them, honestly, I think. And he's very articulate, and he's really, really makes his point good. And like I've talked to you about, I have a hard time not supporting Trump after what him and his family have gone through for this country, and he doesn't have to do it. And I think RFK's on that same spectrum. He really doesn't have to do it. He just wants to make a change. They've both been ostracized. I mean, Kennedy's been thrown out, and I mean, they're suing him to keep him off ballots. They're not allowing him to speak, even though he's above the threshold to be on a debate stage, because they know he'd destroy both of them. They don't want him to be president more than they don't want Trump or Biden. But he was explaining what would happen if we had a nuclear strike against us from Russia. And he said that you have 6 minutes to decide whether to retaliate. And I mean, he knows because his dad was trying to be president. His uncle was assassinated. So he kind of knows what's going on. Family's been in politics. He's a Kennedy. And he was talking about how long they have. They have 6 minutes. If they wake him up out of bed, the president has 6 minutes to make a decision whether to retaliate. And in that 6 minutes, they've got to move him from his bedroom down to the bunker. So the Secret Service is rushing him down to the bunker. Are you going to sit here and tell me that the person that we saw on stage the other night is anywhere near capable of, I mean, if you woke me up at 2:30 in the morning out of sleep, it would take me a minute to get my faculties to where I could make a decision, especially something that critical. We can't keep doing this as a country, and everyone should be angry with our government for what they hit the charade, and our media for the charade that they pulled over our eyes for the last at least 3 years, 2 years. With the condition he's in. I mean, I've known he's been that bad, but I mean, it even opened my eyes a little bit to how, and I cannot believe that this is the guy that says he's going to go up against Putin, that all this stuff that's going across, which I'm not a Putin fan. I'm really neither here nor there on it. I really, I kind of respect some of the things he does in his country, but, man, it's just, we're in trouble. And like I said, if you're going to pay attention to this and pick a side simply because you're always been a D or always been an R, man, you gotta one, pray for whatever God's will is for our country. And then, man, you better get your stuff in order, and you better start, you got to put your faith in something higher than our government. If you're not, or if you're worrying, if you find yourself consumed with this, because I've been there. I think a lot of people who hunt, pay attention to politics because, we're always worried about our national forests and our parks and our, and regulations and them taking away our right to bear arms and things like that. So I think a lot of hunters pay attention to that kind of stuff. So if you're paying too much attention to it, it can definitely be unhealthy. And I find a balance, and I found about more balance when I really started trying to, put more of my trust in Jesus than I used, than thinking that any of this crap really mattered in the long run,
Yeah, 100%. I've always been pretty good about politics and not getting too worked up about it, but it's because my dad always kind of instilled that into me from when I was little. Like, I don't remember my dad really being too much. He wasn't like a Fox News dad that sits there and
yeah. My dad was to the day he died.
So
he's in,
and now, with social media, he's even more like, you don't know what this is all probably made up, or you don't know what to believe. So
why your dad's so fun.
Why put so much energy in it, So that was always just instilled in me, but I still pay attention to it and try to make an educated decision on. So it's hard to navigate though as a Christian, because that's one thing I noticed with President Trump was, man, people were just worshiping that man to no ends, even to say some of these horrible things he's done. They didn't have anything to do with politics per se, but he's a wealthy man. He's kind of known for sleeping around on his wife and all that other stuff or whatever. And it's but somehow a lot of people justified yeah, well, that's okay. Cause for some reason or another, it's no, that's not okay either, but
well, a lot of people are willing to that are, and look, I mean, I support President Trump. I voted for him twice. I don't know if I'm going to vote for him this time. I'm still not ruled RFK out because I really, really like the guy. I really think he's a genuine human being. I really think he's a good guy. I don't think he's any of the BS. I don't think Trump is either, by the way. I think that if you want to, I would like to see our country united, which I don't think we're going to see anytime soon. But unless we have some kind of disaster like 9/11 to unite us.
Yeah. Forced to.
Yeah, Biden won't unite the country. No Democrat politician you're going to put up there that is in the running to, which I don't think, he's too arrogant. I don't think he's going to give up his delegates. They're not going to do anything but further, they're going to further divide. Trump, he's just divisive, man. You love him or you hate him. There's no in between ground. There's no matter. I mean, I love him. I think he's funny. I don't hold his sins or his personal flaws against him because I've got my own. I don't judge him. I look at his policies. I think they're good. I think he's done a lot of good things for Christians in our country. The more I see him, the more I feel like the hand of God is on him in some way, and he is being persecuted. I said this to some customer, but I mean, he's being persecuted in a lot of ways, similar way that they did Christ. Christ didn't have to do what he did, right? I mean, he had to, but he, like, in worldly, he had the power not to, right? But he chose to do it because he loves something more than himself, right? Well, I see that too. I see that in what the sacrifices that he's made for our country. He loves his country. He wants it to be great. Whether it's a legacy or an ego thing, I don't know. I'm not in his head or his heart. But I feel like he genuinely loves the country. I feel like RFK genuinely loves the country. I think Biden doesn't even know what country he's in. But I really do think that, and I don't think that he's ever, I think he loves the money that this country's provided him, but I think that, if a guy's getting persecuted that much for BS, that, I mean, all this stuff's getting turned around left and right, they're just trying to destroy him. Man, it kind of makes it hard for me not to throw my vote to him again for a third time.
I pray you're right, man. I pray that's what's happening. And I can't, Zeke, I think you put something on there, a comment on before we start. I don't see it now, but talking about God using people to help. You need to type the comment out again because I can't find it, Zeke. But God using certain individuals to turn countries around or turn, civilizations around, not necessarily countries. So I don't know if that's President Trump or not.
I always go back to Paul when people want to point the finger at someone who did bad things, right? And then did like some of the greatest things. They did the greatest things other than Christ. I mean, he wrote most of the New Testament. He was inspired by Jesus to write all these letters to tell the churches how we should be behaving and how they should behave as the church was getting started. So, I mean, you can't look at a person. I mean, even Joe Biden, you can't look at anybody and just discount their worth because they've done bad things, or just discount how God is using those people because they've done things that you don't agree with or sin. I mean, heck, the things that Trump's done are probably no worse in God's eyes than the things that I've done or do on a daily basis. Sure. That's all bad. So, but the thing is he moving our country in more of a godly direction than where we're at now? And I believe that he did. There's so many people, so many Christian leaders too that got behind him as well and that are praying for him. And some of them might be those mega church guys, and then some of them aren't, but yeah, I mean, it's complicated. It's a touchy subject. I mean, we're talking on touchy subjects of religion, so I kind of said, hey, why don't we just talk about politics too this week?
Go all in with it.
Yeah, man, let's just burn it to the ground this week.
Have you ever read Isaiah?
Yes, I have. Yep.
Do you know about? I mean, you obviously know about the judgment of Judah and Jerusalem.
You'll have to refresh my memory. I did.
Well, I'll have to read a little bit of it because it's been a while since I read it. It's kind of long, but we can just go through it a little bit. But
we have someone that can do that, right? Like Joe Rogan's got Jamie. We have James.
Oh yeah.
He can just type in the chat. We can keep going, and then we'll just come back to it.
Here we go. Zeke, he says this is the comment that I couldn't find. Sorry about that, Zeke or James. He said God used King Cyrus to rebuild Babylonian king, then King Joser, I think that's how you pronounce that, a pharaoh, to work with Joseph to save the world from a 7-year famine. Yeah. So maybe there's hope. I hope that's what's happening, and God's not going to destroy the United States. That's what I hope. Or I pray.
Well, I think his judgment is upon us. I'll be honest with you.
Well, let's talk about judgment because this is
okay.
It's just chapter 3 here in Isaiah. And also, just for everybody's ease of listening, I did get a different. It's the Lutheran Study Bible, but it's the EVS. So instead of my King James Bible,
yeah, that's English Standard, right, Josh?
Yeah. So this is Isaiah chapter 3, and it's the judgment of Judah and Jerusalem. For behold, the Lord God of hosts is taking away from Jerusalem and from Judea support and supply, all support of bread and all support of water, the mighty man and the soldier, the judge and the prophet, the diviner and the elder, the captain of 50 and the man of rank, the counselor and the skillful magician and the expert of charm. And I will make boys their princesses, and infants shall rule over them. And the people will oppress one another, every one his fellow, and every one his neighbor. The youth will be insolent to the elders, and the despised to the honorable. For a man will take hold of his brother in the house of his father, saying, you have a cloak, you shall be our leader, and his heap of ruins shall be under your rule. So essentially, God is saying he's going to slowly destroy the country, or Judah and Jerusalem. And a lot of these comparisons right now from our, the not respecting your elders, um, childish behavior ruling over us, essentially is what he's saying there. What he's saying, infants rule over them, and we saw a lot of childish behavior in the
debate
last. Yeah,
always. Yeah, I'm reading what Zeke said too right here about one thing I noticed. Here, highlight that one, however you do it. The one thing I noticed when I read the Bible, that one he said.
What is it? Oh,
the comment. Yeah.
This one? Oh,
yeah. One thing I noticed when I read the whole Bible, kept saying, "And the children of Israel did what was right in their own eyes. Then bad thing happens." And I think that's very true even today. We're too worried about what we think and not what God thinks. And it's a shame. And I think you look at the Jewish people too, and the judgment that they've received from God for always kind of doing what they want to do. And I think we're no different. That's just everybody, but they're supposedly his chosen people, right? And I believe we're in a time of judgment right now in the United States. This is some crazy stuff that's going on with our country, and just the lies, the manipulation, the media and stuff. And I just hope I pray that everybody's really going to take this election seriously, and try to vote. I wish everybody would follow Christ, but I can't go with a candidate that doesn't support Christian values. It's impossible. That really, I truly believe it doesn't. I think a lot of them are full of it, and they just lie and say what they got to say to get elected. But Nebuchadnezzar. I think is that the one I read in Daniel. I know Nebuchadnezzar was the king in Daniel too. Is that right, James? I read about him in Daniel last week when I read Daniel.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's right. I haven't read Daniel in a while.
There was Nebuchadnezzar, and then there was he had a weird name, began with a B. It almost sounded like the name that they called Daniel, because they gave Daniel a new name too. There was Meshach, Abednego. What's that? Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego.
Shadrach, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's been to every church in the United States, Farrell. I grew up in the black church. I grew up Catholic.
Oh yeah.
I've been Jewish since I converted to Judaism in my 20s. Yeah.
They do. They just do whatever's convenient for them.
Belteshazzar. Remember, I was telling you that Belteshazzar.
Yeah,
there was two of them.
Where'd that name go? Why didn't anybody name their kid that?
Why does nobody name their kid Belteshazzar? I bet you there's some Jewish guys over in Israel named Belteshazzar, and
there might be. Yeah, they do have New York.
Yeah, they have some crazy names over there, man. That are biblical names that you're like, where did that come from? Then when you read the Bible, you go, oh, okay, there's where it goes.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't think I want to spend an hour and a half talking about just politics and how we should view it as a Christian. But I think just whenever you're getting frustrated with all this, just slow down and maybe try to, open your Bible up and maybe read about what Jesus has to say, politics. Read that Mark 12, go through Isaiah 3, and don't let yourself get too don't find yourself worshiping these people that we're voting for.
It's weird in our country how these people, I mean, how they really do put their identity in a political group rather than in Christ. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I'm not. I'll be first saying I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm not independent. I vote. I conservative values go closer along with what I believe. If I was to like label myself, I'd be probably more of a libertarian. Like really small government, stay out of my way. Let everybody, in certain things, just don't take all my money and send it overseas. Feed the people here, the poor, and take care of our veterans and the homeless, mental people here that have mental issues, and solve America's problems like that. That's kind of where I align. And I mean, the Uniparty up in Washington, which they're both really. I mean, I think Trump's probably the first candidate I've ever seen that's not part of he's definitely the first candidate's not part of the system, but the system in Washington, they feed off each other. And that's why these people get wrapped up. Like you said, like I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican. Well, they're both garbage parties. So, and they're both doing backroom door deals. They're both taking money from us. They're both sending money across taking our hard earned money and sending it to other countries and doing things that maybe we don't value, I mean, and it's, should go to hunting related things.
We'll pick that next.
To buy my farm in the Midwest, and I'll have all you guys out, and we'll do hunts on it. How about that? That's what I'm gonna do if I win the lottery. I just need to become a politician, man. If I become a politician, then I can. All I got to do is glad hand and kiss babies, man, and just say whatever my donors want me to say, and I can have all the land I want. Yeah, it'll be great. The greatest
everywhere.
Yeah, fantastic.
Biden couldn't do that.
No,
I'm a 6 handicap.
Yeah. He probably shoots a recurve too.
I couldn't believe they started arguing about their golf.
When it delved into that, I just went.
That was embarrassing.
I was like, come on, man. All the things that we've got going on. You got people dying in the war that we created over there in Ukraine, that we helped to instigate. And you're worried about golf games. I mean, Trump brought it up, and he was just trying to say that he's physically fit because they were talking about that. And then it just delved into the stupidity that it always does. And you just watch these things. And I'm glad most Americans tune out after 15 minutes.
I don't think Biden should probably get in an argument about any kind of physical abilities with anybody at the moment.
He has trouble with walking. So, I'm sure
you talk. I don't want to harp on him anymore. It's not. It's not even worth talking about, really. You know what I mean? It's like, everybody saw the same thing. Took him. You talked about him having 6 minutes to decide on a nuclear weapons attack. It took him 6 minutes to get off this freaking stage. The other night.
I found when RFK was talking about that the other day he's really good at communicating a lot of things of how government works and some of the jacked up things. I do like that about him. And he was talking about that what would happen if we had a nuclear strike. And also, I think he talked about too, that if we had a nuclear strike in America, 90 million people would die instantly, is what the experts say, which I don't know how true these are, but it's pretty believable. And that's everything dead. Like, we're talking annihilation. These two guys could annihilate everything on the planet. All the deer we love. I was talking to my friend today, and I was like, think about if they shot a rocket out west, right? Or they hit the west. There's no more elk. There's no more mule deer. There's certain species that just live out there, and they're all gone, right? Probably. The elk, we've got elk over here in Tennessee, so those wouldn't, but it's pretty major. And then it said another 90 million people would die 3 months after from the fallout. You think about, you can't eat anything; it's all radiated. And people need to stop worrying about. The guns is a pretty major thing. I think we should worry about that. But worrying about the right to abortion, we need to quit worrying about all these other issues. The border's pretty serious, but we need to, first and foremost, we need to make sure we got a guy in there who can make a decision whether to destroy the world or not. I think that's kind of the most important thing, and everything else is kind of second to that. And right now, it's scary that we've been lied to, that we don't have somebody in there that's capable of making those decisions. And that's what really angers and bothers me with this. just, you got to pay attention and care about at least that much. But, that's it.
Yeah. It probably just shows you how little
Closing argument.
Yeah, it shows you a little bit how little those guys probably do. I mean, they probably have a lot of people telling them what to do and what to say, and different department heads that are way smarter than them on topics that they're going over, making decisions on. But I don't know. I just know that there was a Navy SEAL, Chad Wright, that runs a 307 podcast. He guarded President Obama for a length of time. He was like an undercover guard for him when he was out of the country.
Yeah.
And he's like, that man didn't say a word or make a move unless someone told him what to do. So
really,
yeah. And he had a real weak handshake. That's two things he remembered about him. He said he didn't say anything.
I don't like weak handshakes.
He said he didn't say anything unless he was told to say it, and he didn't go anywhere unless he was told to go somewhere, and his handshake was weak.
Yeah, that's I don't like weak handshakes. When men give me the old dead fish, here like that right there. Oh man, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I Dan Bongino, I know he guarded Obama. He was one of his Secret Service guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did. I don't think he did Clinton. I don't think he might be old enough to have done Clinton, but I know he did Obama. He was one of them. So he talks about that some. That'd be a pretty stressful job.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I didn't know Chad did that.
Yeah. Just whenever he was stationed, or he was doing a mission in Africa or something. Or I don't quote me on Africa, somewhere. And his team he got assigned to go with President Obama wherever he was going. He had to follow him around. I think it was like an undercover deal though.
Did I ever tell you I got trained in that when I was a police officer, the dignitary protection?
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty intense, man. It's really intense.
In what way?
Yep, I did it. We had to do so it was like a 4-day class, 3 or 4 day class, and my major sent us through it. They picked me. I don't know why they picked me. Probably because I was big at the time and muscular. But I mean, it's not like I was what was called a worker cop, Yeah. I didn't go around looking for people to mess with, I answered my calls, made sure my partners were safe, and pretty much, hung out in the hole, until we get another call. Yeah, I was at that point in my career where I was kind of over it. But this is right before I left too. I think I left a couple years after that. But he sent me to it, man. It's intense, the training they go to. And I remember a lot of it. But man, your eyes and your head have to be on a swivel. So I still watch those Secret Service guys because they had the same training. They're doing the same thing we did.
Yeah.
And it's like the way that they're standing, how they let the president get out of the car. When you watch it, you'll understand. Like I could sit there and point it out to you, like we watched how they move. Yeah, and then they also, they bring them in. I'm trying to think of what you call that. They'll have several cars in a line. I can't think of what they call that right now. Anyway,
convoy.
Convoy, and you don't know which car the principal's in. They call it a principal, so you don't know which car that he's in. That's one thing. But you got the cars in the back, cars in the front. Everybody's got a specific job, and if one person doesn't do their job, it could all go haywire. So you're just responsible for yourself in doing it. And like you have to step out of the car, and if you notice, they'll stand in front of the door, and that's so they get shot before the president gets shot. And there's just little things you watch in there that the Secret Service does, and how they walk in a diamond formation around them, and how it's wild. But that was a pretty cool class. I'll never understand why they sent me to it, and they wasted their money because I left like a year later. But it's a cool thing I can hang my hat on. I've got the training. If I ever went to law enforcement again, I could always say, hey, I've got dignitary protection training.
There you go.
I'd have to go back to a class though, because I've forgotten half of it.
Yeah.
I'm
sure there's some kind of a rule that you have to keep up on it.
Yeah. We had to go to stores. Like we had my major played the part. He was over tact, and he was a military guy, and he a cool dude, man. And so he wanted to go to all these stores. So we had like downtown Memphis. He wanted to go see. He was like supposed to be a guest, and so we went to like some people might know it, but Peabody's very famous here. He wanted to go to a cigar shop. He wanted to go eat at a restaurant, do all that. So we had to play the part while he did that and treat him as a dignitary. and then get his feedback towards the end of it. And the guy that taught the class was a Delta Force guy. Well, he's New Zealand's equivalent to Delta Force.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. Anyway, not to get too random on that, I just thought that'd be kind of interesting. So we're kind of talking about that to share.
Yeah. All that stuff is super interesting. Those guys that do special things in the military, just like, I don't know, that Chad Wright, that he has videos on his YouTube about all of his like kind of time in the military. He was a Navy SEAL for 12 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He just did a lot of different cool things, and they almost had to kill a guy during that stint in Africa with President Obama. Just some guy on a bicycle, not paying attention to what he was doing, and tried to drive around a spot he wasn't. He had a backpack on. There's just a bunch of bad things going on. They finally got him stopped before they had to.
I wonder how many people have gotten killed that we don't know about that did something like that. They just screwed up.
Right. I don't know.
Some like 12-year-old riding a bike gets a little too close to one of our presidents and, and they're like,
I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully not very many, but
send his mom a couple of million and a U.S. citizenship card.
I wouldn't think it happened here in the U.S. very often, but maybe when they're in those kind of third world countries, things are different over there, man. It's just a person's life isn't as valuable as we hold it here sometimes. So, I mean, I've been all over the world, and that's just a fact, man.
Yeah. People don't pay attention though. That's one thing we used to talk about when I was first when I was going through the training academy. They used to talk about all the time, like they were talking about like traffic and just in general, how people, they just are in their own freaking world, man. And they're like, a lot of your stuff that happens is accidents, traffic accidents, because a lot of officers die in traffic accidents. It's probably the most deadly thing that officers die in the United States is traffic accidents. And they were just telling us, and they're like, man, people are on their phone. They're just paying attention to what they're doing. They don't pay attention to anything around them, So, I mean, I did it this morning. I was looking for turkeys in the field, and daggum near slammed into a car. And my worker, he almost had to change his drawers, man. I was like, my heart was beating out of my chest. I was like, did you see that? And Dylan's like, he's like my godson, because his dad's my best friend. I held him when he was a baby, and he's working with me this summer. And we were riding. And I was like, yeah, there's always turkeys out in this field. And I turned on, turkey pulled over. And he goes, oh, my God. And I said, dude, don't tell your dad. Don't tell your dad that. He goes, man. I said, I was this close to hitting that car. I was like, Brandy always gets mad at me about looking in fields for deer and turkeys, man. Because if I look over here, the car drifts over here.
Yeah, you drive where you're looking.
Yeah. So
that's funny.
Situational awareness.
Yeah, dude, there's a lack of that in this country right now.
Yeah.
And I'm paranoid, not paranoid, but I'm very situationally aware.
Yeah.
And it drives me nuts when people aren't, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not if you put a deer or a field where there's deer in it in front of me, like I might tend to not pay attention, but at the gas pumps, at the stores and stuff like that, yeah, I'm always watching everybody, man.
Parking lots.
Staring or, there's probably people going, man, what's that dude staring at me?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what you're up to. I haven't figured you out yet.
Yeah, you got to be aware of your surroundings. I mean, driving is it's worse. People driving. I mean, just for reasons. It's mostly cell phones, But in general, it's like people. It's not even like being aware of your surroundings. People are so inconsiderate sometimes of other people's time and what they're going through.
Right.
Just being in your way and just I don't know. It just drives me nuts sometimes.
Yep. So let's talk about deer for a minute.
Yeah,
Anybody going out? Anybody doing any? It's camera season now.
Yep. I last night I was driving home at right before dark at 9:30. Deer everywhere. I mean, there was bucks everywhere, deer everywhere. It got me excited for.
Did it cool down last night up there? Or was it this morning?
It did.
See, it hit us last night, and so this morning, man, I saw 5 turkeys this morning just driving around. One of them in this weird neighborhood, right off a main highway, in this lady's front yard. And I stopped looking at it, ran off like a dinosaur, And then I went down another road, and there were 5 or 6 bucks standing out in the field, which usually by daylight they're off in the woods. So it was nice enough to where they wanted to hang around. Saw a lot of game early, and then it started getting a little warm. So, I always send Josh polos of deer in these neighborhoods eating azaleas in people's front yards where I work.
Yeah, I got this. I got this in the mail today.
Nice. I see somebody else got theirs.
Dan Weaver reminded me of it. It's laying here on my desk, Dan.
Yeah.
My tag
4
is
4 years later. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, mine was 7 years later.
And I don't know where to hunt up in Iowa. I've never been. Have you ever been up there?
Yeah.
Bow hunting?
No, I've never been. I've been out there scouting though. I'm going to go again this summer sometime. So
I think I'd tell somebody if you got a bow license. I'll say this: I've hunted the Midwest on public, and I think everybody wants to go that first week of November. And I think if the weather's right and it's looking good, and you can make it before the end of October, like that last week, I wouldn't necessarily throw that out the window if you're hunting public, because there's not going to be as much pressure from what I've heard and from what I've seen. That first week, man, that first 10 days of November is stacked with hunting pressure, Yeah. And I'm not talking about Iowa. I've never been. I've hunted Illinois, and I know people that hunt other states, and they kind of say the same thing. If you get really good weather right there at the end of October, it can turn those bucks on, and before a lot of that pressure kicks in, and they're up moving, and you can probably get on some deer.
I'm in zone 4 is what I drew, Dan.
How many years does it take for zone 4, Josh?
You got to have five points.
Okay.
I had 7, but that's just because I didn't put in there for a little bit because of the kids and stuff. But
so 2 more years I can get drawn.
Probably.
Maybe.
I don't know. Hopefully.
Yeah.
A lot of people, hardly anybody with 1 point got drawn for Kansas this year, at least the good units. So that's going to creep up again. It's just everything's kind of creeping that way, but that is what it is. Whatever
I got 3 in Kansas and 3 in Iowa right now. I'm probably gonna, if you put in for Kansas next year and pay for to actually get a tag, I'll probably do that with you. I don't know. Can you do it as a group? Because I don't want to go up there by myself.
Yeah, there's a group thing.
No, we just do it as a group, and if we all don't get drawn, we all don't get drawn. I don't care.
Yeah.
If y'all don't have enough points and I do, it doesn't really matter to me.
Well, we'll all have a couple points at least. So
I'll have 4, or I'll have 3 going in.
Should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk to Dave. Dave is our group leader, so we'll talk to him about that. I'll see.
Yeah, I'm not. If there's room, whatever.
Yeah, I think there is. I don't think.
Going
it's
by
just
myself.
me and Dave. I think it's just me, Dave, and his brother.
Dave from Razor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that probably wouldn't be a deal. He's nice, really nice. I like him.
Good way to get your tag at least. Guarantee you'd be helping us really.
Yeah. Well, so do they go off somebody that's got higher points sometimes? Or
I think that's how it works. I'm not sure exactly. I just know. I know. Me and Dave didn't have any points because we drew last year. His brother did not draw, so he had a point, and we didn't. None of us drew this year. So and we all had points. We all had no points, and then his brother had 1. So, but didn't pan out. So I'll talk to Dave about it. I'm just
I'd go to Iowa by myself just because it's so hard to find somebody that's going to have the same points as you. For just the way it is up there. But like Kansas, you can get Kansas with a point or 2 points or whatever. Yep. So I'd rather just put in with you guys, and even if I didn't get drawn because y'all didn't get drawn, that's fine. I mean, I'll just wait till the next year. Doesn't matter.
Yep. I may be going to hunt in California next year
for deer.
Blacktail.
Really?
Starts in July. Man.
You said blacktail?
Blacktail, yeah.
Okay. Somebody posted pictures of deer in Florida with hardhorns right now. They're
what?
Rutting. They're rutting in South Florida. Yeah. Somebody said that. I saw it on.
Maybe I've never heard that, but maybe
somebody said they had hardhorns, and it was a reveal camera with the date. I mean, it could be AI, man. I mean, Skynet's taking over, but it looked like I mean, a legitimate picture, and it was a buck walking through. You could see the palmettos and the foliage.
Yeah,
and it was South Florida.
I'll look into that.
Yeah, I've heard that there's deer down there, and they have a rut like now. I don't know. James, where you at? James, can you confirm?
Look that up for me, James.
Yeah, James, can you look that up for us?
I got to find this message I got today. I get a lot of messages about just random stuff. A guy named Tyler Horner sent me this. He is a trauma RN.
Uh-huh.
And this came across, I think came across his email or something, but it was a study done on sharpness of knives and the effects of that on slaughtering animals, which is kind of weird, but
yeah.
and it was saying slaughtering animals with a razor or like a medical grade sharp knife reduces pain and kills the animal whatever percent a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And he was just telling me like, man, that's kind of a good reminder of people to make sure they got good sharp broadheads this year.
Yeah.
Cuts better. And
well, you think about it, when you cut yourself, sometimes you cut yourself and you don't even notice it till you see the blood, and then it hurts.
Yeah.
But if you get hit with a rifle round, there's a lot of kinetic energy behind that and blunt force trauma, it's got to hurt a lot more. Because,
I would imagine. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever shot I don't think I've ever shot a deer with a rifle that just stood there after I shot.
Yeah, not typically. I mean, they got to be rutted up real bad or something.
I've shot deer with a bow that have just stood there and didn't know what happened. But yeah, he said it's Florida Keys. I've heard that before, that those deer rut like.
Yeah, really maybe so. I don't know much about Florida deer.
Yeah, he had a picture. It was a nice deer for down there. I mean, it's probably like a 100-inch 8-point, but I don't think they get super big down there. Did you say you're going to California on did you say blacktail?
Blacktail, yeah.
Blacktail, okay. That'll be cool.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I've always wanted to do that.
I want to go on a mule deer hunt. I didn't think I would, but after seeing them out there when I've gone to visit, like,
yeah,
I really, 5.56, they'll keep running. I really like to go out there.
Yeah, I can't wait. I got a bunch of Colorado points I need to burn sometime too, but I probably won't wait. I don't know. I'm a little bit excited just because it's in July. It's like early. They open real early out there. I just think blacktails are beautiful animals, man. They're just just different.
So are they is that their rut in July?
I don't know. Probably not. I'm not sure.
Do they have hard horns?
Yeah, I think so.
They probably are, because their testosterone has to. If they're like whitetail, their testosterone has to get to a certain level.
My buddy Alan came over Saturday, and me and him were planning it. He knows a lot more about it than I do. He's been out there and killed them out there, but I've never been out there. So we'll see. Are
you doing Nebraska this year?
I haven't. No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to go to Kentucky if I go anywhere early season.
I might try to slip into a Kentucky with you. You're going public, right?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll just shoot over on some public somewhere.
Yeah, I might do that. I might do that with you, depending on how busy work is.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. I'm gonna do Illinois. I got John put in for his shotgun tag yesterday.
Oh, nice. That'll be fun.
Yeah, so he wants to go up there if he gets drawn, which I think he will. And I got Shane to do his shotgun tag. So if we go up there, I think we're gonna go up there in September, do some scouting and put some cameras out, and then go back I'll go back. I'm gonna spend a little more time up there this year than I have in the past. Now that I got the pop-up camper for the back of the truck, my home on wheels.
So Kentucky season opens the 7th of September this year. It's a late opener. So,
that's usually not good.
No, it's not great.
Because a lot of deer are already out of velvet.
You want as early as possible. That'd be because they're on summer patterns or heavy summer patterns. But
yeah,
it's still doable. You never know. Then you'll have a tag for the rut too if something happens.
Yeah, the Mississippi's got a rut hunt this year, and Arkansas's got a rut hunt too. I don't know when Arkansas is. I want to say it's in September.
What do you mean by that? You got a rut hunt?
Not rut. Dadgummit. Velvet hunt.
Oh, velvet hunt.
Yeah, they got velvet hunts in Arkansas this year. First year they're going to have a velvet hunt over there.
I saw that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get John to let me go over there and hunt and shoot a cull. I'm like, just let me shoot one of those like 8-year-old 8 points that are got mass like that. Yeah, the 145, 150 inch 8 points on your place. You know, I can put a thing of corn out and, you know, get some pictures and then schwack them over. It's legal there, guys. It's legal. It's legal.
Yeah.
And it's not where he hunts too. Like you're not going to hold deer without that, you know, stuff because there's no trees over there in the fall, you know. It's a lot of ag. Yeah, it's in the Mississippi River Delta too. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I got to get fired up for it, man.
You're still not in the hunting mood yet, huh?
Not yet. I mean, it's hot, and I want to go put my cameras out, and I'm just like, I got to go get my cameras. First off, they're still in the woods from last year. Yeah. So I got to get them and change batteries. Yeah, I got to get them and change batteries. And then just kind of, I got some stuff I want to do on John's place to try to get it, you know, ready, food plots and things like that. So, and then you can come down here and do that velvet hunt again. We can sweat to death.
Maybe not. Maybe it'll be awesome. Maybe like last year it was like 107. Maybe this year it'll be like 87. And
yeah, or like 92.
Yeah, that'd have been a cool front.
Man, I know one year I hunted it and it was in the 60s in the morning for like 3 days. It was awesome. Yeah. I didn't see any deer though. It was weird.
Huh.
That was first year CWD though here too. And on that farm I hunted, our deer took a big hit from something. I don't know if it's CWD or depredation permits, but there definitely weren't as many on the place that year.
Yeah. Either way, we'll give her a shot and it'll be fun.
I'm getting excited about it. I'm ready.
Gosh, me too. Dude, it's not that far away. It's July 1st right now. I mean,
no,
less than 2 monons now.
What's the Tennessee Velvet? Is that August 24th
and 5th, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and that was crazy. That's 2 weeks before Kentucky's season opens. And they'll definitely be in velvet here and on those summer patterns.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just want to get something. I'd like to get something planted at John's so we, you know, he's constantly going to plant something and then he gets sidetracked and it never gets done. I told him the other day, I was like, man, why don't I just pay a guy to come that's got the equipment and just do some food plots in a few places, you know, and then maybe we can, you know, I mean, I'll just pay for it. And he's like, well, you know, it's like, okay, whatever.
Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
Well, either way, I mean, we'll figure it out. There's, you don't have to have food plots out there. You know, there's deer out there. So
he's got he got him a new truck.
So, got rid of his Land Cruiser?
No, he still has that.
Okay.
No, he doesn't get rid of anything.
Oh, okay.
He has 2 of those, and they're just both sitting in the driveway. No, he got a 2015 or 16 F-150. It's really not King Ranch, like the nicest one you can get, and he got it for a deal. You know, steel. Probably paid $20,000 for it. And I told him, I said, dude, please don't mess this truck up. He's already got the blower, his steel blower sitting in the back seat, and a bunch of oil back there. He's had it for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, John, please, dude, please don't ruin this truck. Please do not tear this truck up. You know, it's already full of, that back seat will be full up to here with stuff. So it is what it is, man.
Yeah, some people are like that.
No, I didn't, Farrell. I didn't see that. I saw the one they did on the buck bedding and stuff, and they talked about it the last week on a podcast. It was pretty good.
Yep. But anyways, seen a bunch of deer last night. Got me pumped. It seems like there's a good amount of deer around here this year. So
do you ever glass or see any bucks out in your fields?
Oh yeah, I do a decent amount of glassing. I shouldn't say a lot. I used to glass a lot, but I haven't in the last several years.
Yeah, you got kids now.
Here, we're talking about glass right here, man. I'm ready to go. I got my spotter right here.
Oh, there you go. Time for a plug.
Sitting here waiting. No plug. Just a spotter. Whatever brand you want to buy, go ahead and buy it.
Yeah, I need to get me a spot and scope. I don't have one.
Maven's a good option, or Vortex, or whatever you want to buy. It's all pretty good. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm going to get out a little bit more, kind of pick and choose, get some good, maybe take Huck with me. You know, he kind of likes looking at deer.
Yeah. Well, he's getting old enough too. Y'all been doing a bunch of stuff together.
Yeah.
This summer. It's
I'm
good.
always like, I got to be careful because I push him too hard, and I'll do something that I don't think is going to be too bad for him, and then we get into it, and he's like, into muck over his waist, and he's like, I don't like this. I'm like, sorry, buddy. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
just keep the smile on his face. I remember my dad took us and when I was a kid, and I'd get tired because
yeah,
their legs are so small, and I'd get
yeah,
tired, and he'd just put me up on his shoulders and carry me around. I'm sure you do that with Huck, and those
yeah,
are awesome memories, man. Squirrel hunting with him and him doing that, and I remember one time me and him and another guy that was younger were out scouting, during September. And I think I filled both of their pocket, like those big 6-pocket pants that had the pockets on
yeah.
the side, cargo pocket.
Cargo pop, yeah,
They both of them, they had turtles in each box turtles in each one because I made them carry these box turtles home, and brought them home to my mom. And she's like, "What are you going to do with those?" And I was like, "Oh, we're going to keep them." They got out, and I don't know what happened. We live next to some woods, so they probably made it okay. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, but those are good memories. Keep doing that with him because he'll enjoy it. He looks like he has fun.
yeah. He does for the most part. He just like you said, he gets tired, or I we go through a batch of thorns on accident or something he didn't like
Yeah,
that, which I understand. I don't like that either sometimes, but
yeah,
um,
eh,
he had a good time. We went just out messing around the woods yesterday evening, and he liked that. We had planned on staying the night, but man, he had allergies real bad. His nose was just running
yeah,
constantly, and he got and at night, like it was about 9 o'clock, and he was like, "You think we could just go home?" I'm like, yeah, buddy, we were just down the road.
yeah,
So we don't have to sleep in this little tent. He was, his snot was running down his nose and everything
yeah,
else. So we just went home. But
yeah. Allergies are terrible.
yeah,
I don't.
mine been bad recently too.
Yeah, I take medicine, and I think mine, like, not medicine, like I take allergy over the counter stuff, and that's
Yeah,
helped me out a bunch. Like, of course,
yeah,
I'm in the grass all year, so I take it winter. I don't miss a day. My wife got me on that right after we got married, and I started cutting grass, and she's like, "You need to be taking allergy medicine every day." So I take it every day, and I switch them up like every 2 or 3 months. I take a different one.
hmm.
I think my body gets used to it or whatever. But
I just
that's
take it
fun, man.
as needed though. I'll have a Benadryl or something every now and again if it gets real bad. Usually, if I can't
Yeah,
sleep when I mess with it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's just tough whenever they're that young. You don't really want to give them a whole bunch of stuff. So you
Hmm.
kind of, if you can, you got to let them work it out themselves.
Yeah,
But
everybody watching, I don't have kids, so like I'm not. I don't know
yeah,
all this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
I know a little bit. I know. I wouldn't kill a kid if he was mine, but he might have a stuffy nose all the time, or
yeah.
if I was a single dad, he'd have a stuffy nose, or I don't know, maybe some poison oak, and I'd have to put some medicine on him. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a few things
Oh,
I might not know.
Huck's had a couple spells of chiggers and poison ivy. That's for
Oh,
sure.
chiggers are the worst.
Yeah, they're
I
horrible. I hate them.
I can't stand those.
He
Y'all have
also gets
snakes? Y'all have a bunch of
not
snakes up there?
not like you guys do.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere down here. They're
No,
all over. My
no. I
dogs
mean,
find them in the yard.
you could run into one every now and again, but it's not like it is in the South.
Yeah, yeah. That's one other thing we got that's really good is snakes.
Yeah, we have some rattlesnakes up in the hills, and then some of your water moccasins or your copperheads in our creeks and swamps, but not like you guys do. I mean, if you see one, it's pretty rare.
Yeah, I see them all the time here. They're like,
Yeah.
I saw one the other day laying in the middle of the road. Big man, he was probably 6 foot long.
What
And I
kind?
think it was one of those. I think it was one of those racers, blue racer or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, you call him. He was just really dark, solid black. And
Yeah.
wasn't a cottonmouth. He wasn't fat. He was thin and long, but man, he was
Mhm.
stretched out all the way across the road. Couldn't help
Yeah.
but hit him.
Yeah. I mean, we have some of them, like some black snakes and that, but nothing, not crazy like you guys do.
Yeah.
We have some giant ones in the hills. Like you'd be walking down scouting or something, and you look over and there's a great big old 6 foot snake laying there, but they're harmless. I mean, they
Or
aren't
that
gonna hurt
y'all don't
you.
have timber rattlers?
Yeah.
Y'all do have those.
I've never seen one, but we apparently have them up in there.
We have them here. I was turkey hunting, and well, I mean, we have them here where we went on Cheney. We have them there, but where we went, we hunted in Dixon, which is in Middle Tennessee, and a guy went turkey hunting, and he heard something in his blind rattling, and he killed 3 babies or 3
Yeah.
small ones. They were all small. They had rattles, but they weren't big or anything like that. And he killed 3 that were like right there that morning. I wouldn't want to hear that. They killed one up at Cheney that was like 5 foot long and like
Yeah.
that big around.
Yeah.
Huge, big old timber rattler up there.
Yeah. Have you ran into them out in the woods, or have you ever?
I've never seen a rattlesnake in the wild. Period.
Me either.
I know they're there, but cottonmouths. I mean, like I've been turkey hunting for 30 years, and I bet you I haven't seen. I don't even average seeing one snake a year in my whole lifetime. I've been turkey hunting. I just don't see them for some reason. I don't look for them either, but I just don't see them very much.
Yeah.
And I try to leave them alone. Don't let John see a cottonmouth. He'll kill it. He'll kill every one of them. He'll stop and go out of his way to kill it.
Yeah. When I hunted, they're around in Kentucky. I've been fortunate enough, knock on wood, never ran into one down there. But when I was hunting in Florida, geez Louise, man.
Bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got boa constrictors and pythons down there from people.
I didn't see any of that. But cottonmouths and copperheads.
Alligators. Gators.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about that gator they found here now down the street from where I live?
No.
Yeah. So the major highway that's close to my house, which is literally the one that we turn off of, when you're coming to my house, they found there was a 10-foot alligator on the side of the road, just east of my house. And there's pictures of it and everything. So, I mean, there's been a few gators up here, but yeah, it was like a month ago. It was all over the little Facebook group for the city and all that stuff. And the sheriff's department confirmed it. And TRA confirmed it. So kind of crazy, man.
Yeah.
In Tennessee.
Yeah.
West Tennessee. Yeah.
Where'd it come from, they think? I mean,
they're just migrating. Climate change, man, or whatever's going on with the climate. I mean, there's something to it. You look at that ice cap up there, and there's a lot less now than there was 20 years ago. So it seems like stuff's migrating up here that doesn't
I don't know.
Get up here. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
they're up in the Mississippi River. That's how they probably come up the river.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Migrate up the river, and then they just follow the tributaries out. So,
yeah. Dude, I wonder what the alligator's thinking when he gets someplace like that.
I don't know, man. I mean,
or how he gets that far off base.
I mean, I wonder what any of these animals think when they're just doing what they do during the day.
I know.
Deer do the same kind of things every day and have a home range, right? But some of these animals, like turkeys, like I'll see a turkey like off in somebody's front yard by itself, like a hen, and I'm thinking I wonder where's everybody else at? There's like nobody around, no other hens, no other gobblers. Like she's just by herself out in this yard pecking at bugs. She doesn't even know I'm driving by her. Like today, and I stopped the car, and then she freaks out. It's like, oh, now you see me. You're 10 foot off the road in this person's front yard, and now you see me and you take off running. I'm like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know where Finger, Tennessee is, but I think I am. Are you in West Tennessee, Dan? I think Finger's in West Tennessee.
Patrick lives in Memphis.
No, I don't live in Memphis. Not anymore. I was a Memphis police officer, but I don't live there. No, I got the heck out of there.
Yeah.
I'm close to Somerville, Dan. If you know where Somerville is. Okay. Yeah, I think Finger's close to here. There's Finger. I think there's Finger something everywhere. Finger, Mississippi, probably Finger, Tennessee.
I've never heard of a Finger, Indiana. That seems like a.
Yeah, there's a Finger, Tennessee.
Huh.
Yeah. That's not. I don't think that's far from me. I think it's within maybe an hour where I live.
There you go.
Not too bad. It's funny.
Anyways, you ready to hop off here?
Yeah, man. Good talk. Have fun, everybody.
It was a good talk. I think it was a conversation that everybody can at least have an opinion on, or maybe get something out of it.
Yeah. Well, we beat Medicare tonight. That's all I have to say.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
See y'all later.
Hit the subscribe button before you leave.
Yeah. Bye, y'all.